Hey, and welcome to Matt and Jess TV. I am Matt Roast.
And I am Jessica Bun Bun from Bulgaria.
So, as you guys can tell, Jess and I are in very different parts of the world at this point. We are going to be zooming this out for the next little while, but I just want everybody to know Jess needs every flower in the world for this. She has been flying basically for almost 24 hours. She just got off the flight, and you know what she wants to do right away? Talk about Big Brother.
I do, and that's why I'm here. I'm here talking about Big Brother. I said that I would be here for the live updates. I don't want to miss them while I'm out here in Bulgaria for the week. So we're going to see how this Zoom thing does. We haven't recorded, not in the same studio before, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, just bear with us, guys. I know this is not our typical acoustics, all of that sort of stuff, but we doing our best here. But we're gonna get into the veto, the aftermath of the veto. Is Lauren angering half the house? Is Keanu, and okay, here's a real hesitant thing. Is Keanu actually going to work with Rachel now? I know this is the big eternal question that nobody really knows. Okay.
I feel that we do know in our hearts that the answer is no.
Listen, sometimes hope springs eternal, and sometimes delusional hope springs eternal, and I am willing to be delusional in this very moment.
I'm here with you, Matt.
Okay, all right, we have a lot to get into here in this update, but of course, be sure to hit that subscribe button because you know what? Even if Jess and I are in very different parts of the world and she's off picking up her son, we are still gonna be here talking about daily live feed updates with you guys. We're gonna have a good time. We will be back in studio together in due time. But thank you guys so much for all of your support and well wishes. Like, we really, really do appreciate that.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, everyone.
Yeah, and if you guys do want more Big Brother discussion, be sure to join that Patreon. We have a link in the description, and we really, really appreciate everyone who supports us over there because that helps us to be able to continue doing this, covering Big Brother live feeds. It is a labor of love, but at the same time, it is also labor. It is a very, very large amount of work.
Yeah, it's an incredible amount of work.
Okay, all right. First and foremost, we'll run through quickly the veto players. You had the head of
Yep.
household, Lauren.
Yep.
You had the nominees here, and Keanu, Will, and Kelly. And then they were joined by Ashley, who had an incentive to win the veto because she's kind of sort of in danger, and Vince, who under no circumstances could win this veto because he would promise it to like five different people and they would all be mad at him.
Yeah, and I mean he is working with Lauren, so I do feel that if it was going to go that way, that he was going to do right by Lauren.
Yeah, okay. So before the veto even happened, we had a little bit of drama. You have Riley being mad at Mickey, thinking that she's suddenly running the game. Like, some of this is seeds that are going to kind of start to play out later on in this video and throughout the season. It looks like we could be gravitating more towards a split house. Like, Riley's talking about, oh, maybe I'll nominate Mickey. I don't know why he sounds like he's a coal miner now, but he wants to nominate maybe Mickey, Morgan, and Ashley. He overheard Rachel and Morgan talking, so he's like, he feels like all four of them are close, this is one of those situations where I don't know how many Riley fans are out there, so that's why it's kind of frustrating when it's like, oh, this person you don't like actually kind of clocks something and you don't know what to do with that information.
Yep.
Okay, so here's where we get into the Rachel and Keanu of it all. And this is where I'm going to put on my blinders because I'm going to have some blind hope here for a moment, everybody. Just breathe.
Okay, I have my blinders on too. Let's go that you two crazy kids can just work it out.
Okay, so here's a little bit of what happened is that Rachel had another one of her tough love talks with Keanu and tried to make him realize the whole house is against him and that he needs to finally wake up to this idea. And Keanu, I think he does on a personal level kind of like Rachel. He just hasn't trusted her and he's been gunning for her for weeks, but he has come to a realization through, in his words, deductive reasoning. So I don't know if this means that Keanu is Sherlock Holmes now. I don't know what's going on there, but he's basically been like, oh no, it's actually Mickey and Morgan I need to be worried about. It's not you. And she tried to counter the being, no, 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 no. It's not them. She really worked to sort of spin him over to Vince and Jimmy as the people he needs to be worried about. She was just like, okay, Vince is running Lauren's HOH. Do you not know this? This is something you should be worried about. And okay, here's where it gets interesting.
Mhm.
Our guy Keanu, I don't know if I can call him our guy again, but we're getting
Yeah, no.
there. We're getting there. Okay. He had this conversation with Vince where he didn't actually throw Rachel under the bus for everything. He seemed to be suddenly steered towards wanting to look at Kelly as a target. He didn't spew his typical nonsense. And even after that conversation is over, Vince basically said, I don't like the look in this guy's eye anymore. Is Vince psychic? Vince seems to just kind of know immediately something is weird.
Yeah, he's extremely good at mirroring people, and he's really good at reading people. And yeah, people are starting to pick up on how good he is at that and making people feel really good about themselves in the house, like they're being heard. And that's what you want as
Yes.
Vince. You want people to feel like they're being heard and feel good about themselves, but you don't want people to figure out how you're doing it or that you're doing it.
I think this, if Vince ends up going earlier in this game than any of us expect, I think, I'm not trying to ruin your trip here by saying that, but I'm just sort of thinking, okay, if
Anything
that
can happen. Expect the unexpected.
it would be an ultimate sliding doors moment where I kind of wonder if Rachel was not on this season, I think Vince would dominate so much easier. But I think, his biggest problem is he's up against somebody here who knows Big Brother, knows a lot of games, has been like really immersed in the community. It's not like Rachel left Big Brother 13 and was like, I won, so I don't have anything to do with this show anymore. Like she pays attention.
Well, one of the things that Vince is not doing as well as he should be, which is putting more time into Rachel. Like he's put a lot of time into a lot of people and he's kind of done the rounds or whatever. But if he's not able to kind of keep some sort of control on Rachel, then he's been dropping the ball on that. And he needs to put way more into Rachel at this point.
All right, so the veto competition happens yesterday, and for all of you who like drama, go ahead and fire off all the balloons. Keanu has won the veto. Okay, yeah, let's all celebrate the drama of Keanu.
I am celebrating the mess.
Okay, here's the thing, everybody. Tinfoil hats here for a moment.
Mhm.
Production, I think, might also be team drama because apparently this was a very strength-oriented Power of Veto. Remember last season when they tried to make these competitions equitable so everybody could win? Okay, so like even Will's afterwards is just being like, this was great for people who are like 25, 27. It feels like this was one that he was magically destined to win.
Absolutely, production wants to keep him around. He is super messy. He's good TV. He's causing problems, and yeah, they're not going to want him to go. And as team mess over here, we don't want him to go either.
No, okay, all right. So here's the part of this that I think is going to be really funny depending on how they edit it is that, Big Brother, Survivor, they do these sponsorships sometimes with movies because they want the extra money, like all of that. And so The Bad Guys 2, which is a movie I'd vaguely heard of before now, apparently Keanu has the chance to pick some people to go to this movie with him. And I'm assuming it's probably happening today and the feeds will be down for a while, maybe, or whatever. But ultimately, he decides to take Rachel, which is, Jimmy, and then Ava, who Keanu desperately wants to be his friend. Ava could
Yes,
not
he does.
Ava could not care less about this. Ava, like, I feel like Ava is going to be sitting there in this movie, basically being Brittany Haynes when she was attached to Brendan on Big Brother 12, and she just wanted to run away.
That was so good. Deep pull.
Yeah, I'll give another deep pull here. For everyone who watched Survivor South Pacific, there was this challenge, well, I guess reward where they got to see the movie. I believe it was Jack and Jill, and all the other castaways did a good job of pretending that they were liking this movie that obviously the movie paid for them to see. Even Coach
Of
is just
course.
like there laughing hilarious. And then there's Sophie who's just sitting in the background with like this look on her face that's just like, I would rather be on the beach, just like hearing crabs walk towards me than having to watch this movie.
Okay, this movie that you're talking about now that they are going to see, The Bad Guys 2 actually looks pretty funny. Every time I've seen that commercial, I
Okay.
have absolutely laughed at that snake trying to kiss this other animal, and it's just like completely eating the whole thing. I don't know why I find it so funny, but I'm interested in watching it. And now I'm going to have a son, so I have a reason to.
There you go. See, okay, you have already seen 30 seconds more of the bad guys too than I have. I have not seen a single frame of this movie. Okay, so after the movie situation, which I hope is as funny as I've made it out to be in my head, we're going to talk about campaigning or not campaigning in this sense because Lauren talked with Vince, Keanu, Jimmy, Morgan, like a number of different people pretty soon after the veto ended. But then she was basically like, all right, I'm done. I don't need to listen to any more campaigns today. I just want this to be a nice, fun night where we can all sort of just be friends and do whatever. I mean, I think she knows that she's got all day today in order to do this. Veto ceremony's not until Monday, but here's the thing. It's really easy to say this when you're HOH and kind of put this rule out there, but if you are Rachel or if you are Ashley, they're pretty upset. Like a good almost half the house has a right to be upset over this because Rachel is the queen of constantly playing Big Brother all the time. And she's just sort of like, you don't get a night off in this game. You don't get to just do this sort of deal and then just shun people. Like this is something where Rachel is already like now wanting to possibly put Lauren up because she's just so irritated by this.
Yeah, like I understand Lauren wanting a bit of a break from it because it is overwhelming to be HOH and you just have to have these conversations nonstop. But that's part of being the HOH. You do have to have these conversations
Yes.
nonstop, and that is a benefit to be able to have these conversations with people and build these relationships with everyone. If you're taking a night off, you're taking away an opportunity for someone to state their case.
The thing, okay, here's the part of it I think that really frustrates me about Lauren because I do like Lauren. I do think Lauren
I
is,
like Lauren.
yeah, I think she is a good player, but I never like this whole narrative of I'm scared or I'm worried or just like constantly like putting that energy out into the universe. And this is kind of what I get from this. The whole I don't want to talk game on Saturday night is really just like I don't want to talk with Ashley. I don't want to talk with Rachel. And I think a lot of this is just due to the idea that she doesn't want that she wants to basically put Ashley on the block and she's already worried and scared that Ashley's going to get upset. It's like, of course Ashley's going to get upset. She's playing Big Brother. You just have to, just steel up a little bit here, Lauren. It's all a game. It doesn't mean Ashley's going to hate you forever. What you're playing a game. It's not that serious.
You are playing a game and you do have to steel yourself up for it. But at the same time, I understand. Ashley is someone who's going to burn your world to the ground. If you're coming for her allies, she will make problems. She's been making problems for Lauren already. Like she's not even in this showmance with Zach, and she's been pushing this narrative since day one. There's nothing there.
I think we're going to be in an interesting situation if Ashley ends up on the block here because even if Kelly remains up there with her, like Vince wants Ashley out. And so like I
Yep.
feel there's going to be a push to get Ashley out regardless if she doesn't win Blockbuster. It's kind of a situation to watch here now that Keanu, aka everyone hates Keanu, aka does everyone still hate Keanu now that he's safe? Almost anything in the game could start to sort of change a little bit.
Yes.
Now, after the veto, I will note that Keanu was a little bit more open to Vince and sort of being like, oh, I still don't really trust Morgan and Mickey. And, he still wants, he doesn't want to put up Rachel. Like, it still feels like Rachel got through to him to a certain extent, but he also feels like Rachel is kind of clueless as to what's going on in the house and does, okay, so
Mhm.
Keanu baby steps. You took a baby step. Maybe you took a tiny half baby step back, but we're still in a better place than we were 24 hours ago.
Yes, and it's not the first time we've seen him making some steps, but then he does regress quite a lot. It depends on what's happening. And he is safe right now. And we've seen before when he's become safe, when Casey won for him, that he ends up kind of feeling himself a little bit and he kind
Yeah.
of starts to make some mistakes.
Yeah,
He
that's
talks a bit too much at that point.
that's what I would be worried about moving into today is just that Keanu's going to wake up, just choose violence all over again, and then just go
Yeah.
completely haywire on Rachel when I think that they need to sort of realize it's like, okay, we actually fully need each other at this point because we're moving into this sort of weird situation now where we could be kind of sort of getting to a split house here. So, and who doesn't love a split house for entertainment's sake,
Love
right?
it.
Okay, all right.
Love
So
it.
here's just this is just perception of what this might be. And a lot of things are still kind of in flux here, but I think it's pretty fair to say Rachel, Morgan, Mickey, Ava, Ashley, Will, like that's kind of sort of one side. I mean, yeah, they have friendships and relationships on the other side. Morgan's got a crush on Zach, all that. Like I get all of that. But you can kind of sort of say that maybe Jimmy is in there, maybe Keanu is kind of in there on that side if Rachel really can pull him in, but they're kind of sort of the middle. And then we
Mhm.
have this other group, which is basically Vince, Catherine, Lauren, Riley, Adrian, Kelly, Zach. It's sort of like this is the reason why the Morgans and the Mickeys of the world, like they're gonna try to go in with this idea to Lauren. It's like, okay, Adrian, Kelly, Keanu, this is a three-person alliance. We got to split this three-person group up. You got to really try to nominate Adrian. Like Adrian is going to be the push today. Like that feels like pretty much a certain thing.
Yeah, and I mean, for Lauren, again, we talked about a little bit about this in the last video as well. It makes some sense because Adrian has been
Hmm.
really sniffing out Vince, and Vince knows about it. So if that's the case, Lauren's not going to want anything to happen to Vince. More people are starting to figure out Vince's game. Adrian is
Yeah.
one of those people. I hate to say it because I really like Adrian, but I also like Vince and I also like Lauren. So, I can't have all my people going. So I'm sorry, Adrian, but you're probably going to have to go.
This is the funny thing about all of this is, I can lump Adrian kind of sort of on that side with Vince, but at the same time, Adrian doesn't trust Vince. So that's why I don't
Oh,
think these sides are super clear cut. And this is going to be a pretty messy game. Like, I know that there's some people online who are kind of just down right now about, okay, I don't want to see Rachel's side getting completely picked off. And it's like, I understand a lot of that. But if you're looking for a person to channel your anger towards at this point, throw it at Jimmy, who was too cowardly last week to make a bigger move, and he ends up getting Amy out of the game, someone who he could have theoretically worked with on some level.
yeah. Jimmy has been very quiet since his HOH, which is kind of interesting.
It is. I think he probably knows he should be, but at the same time,
Yeah.
Jimmy, you also need to take accountability for your own mistakes, including
Yeah.
if we do get into some sort of weird steamroll, it's probably that week was kind of sort of the beginning of it. But okay, we just have a couple other little things to talk through here, and one of them is just that. Morgan is still trying to deny that Mickey has a power. She's tried this with Zach, even though we've already went into that Zach basically overheard her winning it. So it's just sort of like, I don't think that's gonna work here, Morgan.
No, it's not. It really just needs to be worked in a way that if Mickey ends up using this power, that the people that know about it, they're okay with what's going to happen.
Yeah, I think that's really the only thing that can be done. I'm not expecting anything with that power at this point, but I just kind of, honestly, I just hope that Mickey just wins an HOH for herself and that she gets to make her moves
Mhm.
without having to deal with like any of this other assorted nonsense. But
Yeah.
finally here, Rachel and Ava, they have named their final two Double the Fun, which I like
So
Rachel.
cute.
It is a cute name, and I really like Rachel. And Ava is one of my favorite people on this season. Like, I would love in
Yeah.
theory for this to work, but I think Ava, I don't think she necessarily wants Rachel out immediately, but I think she's wary of Rachel. I don't know how seriously Ava is taking it, but that's just because I feel like in my heart, Ava's true final two is your beloved Team 50 and Will.
Yeah, I just think that Ava knows that if she goes to the end with Rachel, that Rachel wins. And while, she wants to, of course, you're never going to say no to an alliance. Someone's not going to come to you and be like, hey, final two. And you're going to be like, I'm
Yeah.
good. Of course, you're going to say yes.
Yeah, you have to. It's Big Brother, but anyway, for the rest of today here, day 20, it's my expectation that we're going to see more campaigning. I'm also just curious to see if Lauren continues to play very shy and very much I'm scared, I'm indecisive, like how much that's going to eventually irk some other people. Like I think in her heart she's standing on her decisions, and I think a certain part of this is how she's wanting to project things to avoid conflict, but I kind of feel like that is probably going to enable more conflict if she keeps it up.
Yeah.
But that's where we are here with our new edition of Big Brother 27 live feed spoilers. Thank you guys so much for your support. And thank you to Jess, who is just coming off a flight, ready to go, ready to talk about Big Brother.
Hey, thank you for doing as well. It's so weird looking into this and seeing you sitting in our studio and I'm not there. I feel like I'm watching one of our videos. I'm like, wait a second, why are you doing this video without me? How dare you?
It is weird because I'm trying to like situate myself in the room because I'm used to being on one side. And I'm like,
Right. Yeah, it's totally
am
weird.
I looking in this direction too much? Am I like, what's going? No, but thank you guys so much. Be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss anything more here. And you can support us further by joining our Patreon. We have a link in the description there. Thank you so much. We'll see you here next time.